Today, we are not cracking open some ancient historical text or a dense scientific paper. Nope, we are diving deep, and I mean deep, into one of the most mysterious documents you could imagine, a single piece of homework. And trust me, what's hiding inside, it's just incredible.
So, yeah, what can a single piece of homework teach us about, life, the universe, and everything? It's a huge question, right? But you got to stick with me on this one, because this document we're about to pull apart, it's got profound truths about why we do the weird things we do. It's got exclusive interviews with Nobel Prize winners, and it's also got some urgent medical crises. Okay, let's just get into it.
And here it is. This is our source material. An English as a second language assignment filled out by a student named Norma. Now, at first glance, yeah, it looks pretty much like any other worksheet you've ever seen. But as you're about to see, this thing is basically a treasure map of the human condition.
Our journey starts, as so many epic journeys do, with grammar. Yep, we're talking about reflexive pronouns. Words like myself, yourself, herself. These are the words we pull out when the person doing the action is also the person receiving the action. Sounds simple enough, right? But what happens when this little grammar rule escapes the classroom and gets into the real world? Well, let's look at our first case study, the traffic jam. We've all been there, that universal moment of pure frustration. It's a true test of your sanity. So the homework asks, what do people do when they find themselves completely stuck in traffic?
And here we have our very first breakthrough. According to Norma's text, a woman named Marcy talks to herself. But get this, not because she's going crazy, but because it's a good problem-solving activity. And that is just a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Grammar isn't just about boring rules. It's a little window into all the weird and wonderful ways we cope with life.
Okay, but just when you think you've got this homework figured out, it takes a wild turn. It turns out Norma wasn't just filling in blanks. No, she was tasked with something much, much bigger. She had to land an interview with one of the greatest minds in all of human history.
So here was the assignment. Imagine an interview with Albert Einstein. A pretty standard creative writing prompt, you'd think. But what Norman came back with? Well, it feels less like she imagined it and more like she got a shockingly honest confession from the man himself. So she asks him about his career, and Einstein apparently says, like any career, it was difficult. Today I am free at night and the weekend so I can enjoy my family and the sea. Wow. A pretty down-to-earth take from the guy who figured out general relativity. But wait, it gets even better. When asked about his hobbies, the man who completely redefined our understanding of the cosmos says he loves to see the sea and study human behavior, and that he uses his nights and weekends to myself. It turns out Albert Einstein just wanted a nice, quiet weekend off. Who knew? Of course, this entire groundbreaking interview comes to us exclusively from Norma's homework. An absolutely incredible scoop. Thank you for your service, Norma. All right, so we're going to leave Einstein to his beach weekends because our document pivots again. This time, it tackles that timeless struggle, time management. The difference between what's urgent, the stuff screaming for your attention right now, and what's important, the stuff that actually helps you with your long-term goals. Now, you've probably seen this before. It's often shown in a matrix, just like this one. You can basically sort any task into one of 4 boxes, based on how urgent or important it is. It's a classic productivity hack. But, theory is one thing. Let's see what happens when Norma applies it to her actual life. So, what does Norma classify as an urgent task for herself? I'm quoting here, "See the doctor because my hair is falling." And just like that, this abstract productivity exercise gets very, very real. All of a sudden, the urgency/importance matrix isn't about getting more done at work, it's about staring into the void. If you look at her other answers, a sick kid is of course urgent, and her reason is just a piece of timeless wisdom. Diseases are always urgent. You really can't argue with that. Planning a family vacation? That's important, but not urgent. Makes sense. And what does she put in that dreaded, not important and not urgent box? The stuff you should probably just avoid altogether. Buying clothes. And her reasoning? I hate to try clothes on. Norma, I think you might be speaking for all of us here. So, let's recap. We've covered grammar, Einstein's retirement plans, and the existential dread of hair loss. You'd think that's more than enough for one homework assignment. But, for reasons that are, let's say, not entirely clear, Norma's homework takes one final, completely bizarre turn.
straight into the world of experimental physics.
Everybody, I want you to meet the pitch drop experiment. This is the final topic in this unbelievable document. It's all about this black, sticky stuff called pitch. It's like a super thick tar. People used it to waterproof things. But it has one very, very strange property.
This one experiment has been running completely uninterrupted for 92 years. 92. So you got to be asking yourself, why on earth would anyone need to run an experiment for almost a century? Well, that gets to the very weird nature of pitch itself.
Okay, let me just run through the wild facts on this thing. The pitch drop experiment is, officially, the longest-running lab experiment in the entire world. Now, pitch looks completely solid. You could literally shatter it with a hammer, but it's actually a liquid. It's just an incredibly, unbelievably thick one. So thick that since 1927, only 9 drops have managed to fall. And here is the absolute best part. In all that time, not a single scientist has ever actually seen a drop fall with their own eyes. They're always on a coffee break, or the camera glitches at the last second. It is the ultimate watched pot never boils scenario. And with that, we've reached the end of Norma's homework. What a ride! We went from reflexive pronouns all the way to astrophysics. So after all that, what is the big takeaway from this incredible document?
Well, first, we learned that simple grammar can tell us a lot about our secret human habits, like talking to ourselves in traffic to solve our problems. Second, we learned that maybe, just maybe, Albert Einstein was just like the rest of us and wanted a quiet weekend by the sea. Third, we learned that the line between what's urgent and what's important can sometimes get a little hairy. And finally, we learned that some of the slowest, most boring-sounding things in the universe are actually the most fascinating.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? We all have these kinds of documents lying around our lives. Old to-do lists, weird notes, forgotten emails. If one single English assignment can hold all of this humor and humanity and pure wonder, what kind of amazing stories are just hiding in plain sight in the ordinary paperwork of your life? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me.